What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Commentary for you. I want to thank my sponsor, Steel Supplements. Link and discount code down in the description. If you've been following my community tab, you know I've been showing you guys the stocks that I'm pulling over on Webull. All you have to do is open an account. You'll get a stock guaranteed between $3 and $3. Deposit $5 or more, they'll give you another worth at least $8,000 to $2,000. And as you saw, pulled a Snapchat. Also pulled a Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree is a company I always wanted to own. However, not financial advice. I really like where JP Morgan is right now. I might be selling those Dollar Trees and buying into JP Morgan a little bit more. So, here to talk to you guys about Madden ratings. Madden ratings, it's been a weird relationship the communities have with them. There was a time where players were very outspoken, and you still do periodically have them from time to time. But for the most part, EA has taken player ratings and made it into much more than it actually is. You think about the 99 Club, they're presenting players with, golden cleats. They're giving players golden cleats in the game. All this kind of extra. When you come down to looking at what it actually does in the game, it's very little. And now, obviously, they're taking the player ratings and dragging it out for a week. Now, the problem I have with this isn't gameplay changes, right? What EA does for NFL players is what EA does for NFL players. They contractually pretty much with the NFLPA have to be in the game. But the reality is, I and you shouldn't care about a player's ratings. I don't care what numerical value someone assigns to a player. Doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is, does it replicate that player in the game? So when we talk about numbers that do matter, the user score comes up a lot with Madden, 0.2 of course. To me, I think though, that's more of a reflection of people that are tired of the same game, right? Every year you feel like you're getting the same exact product. And when you have player ratings being put front and center like this, it doesn't show us that you're making meaningful changes in the game. You're just creating fluff. You're buying yourself another week to talk about things, another way to get the conversation about Madden, but you're not doing anything that matters to us as gamers. I am so far against player ratings being even promoted. I can't describe to you how silly this whole concept is. More so when you think about what we're being sold this year in terms of going through and having a My Player. Why do I care what any NFL player's ratings are if the big selling point for your game this year is that I'm going to be able to play out my own NFL career? Wouldn't I worry about my player rating as opposed to anyone else's? It just seems illogical, other than, like I said, just trying to fill time, trying to create conversation, trying to create negative and positive talking points, because at the end of the day, whether you're going to talk about it negatively or positively, EA just wants you to talk about the game. However, I think we see there is a tipping point where negativity becomes just that, where when you have, 3 hashtags trending last year about how broken your game is, that's not all publicity is good publicity. That's not all conversation is good conversation. And I really wish we could kind of latch on to this ratings conversation that they have and tell them we don't care. We want a better game, right? I don't care what type of logarithm you have. I don't care what type of people you have at a game. I don't care who you have going out and assessing players. Until you have gameplay that really showcases ratings matter, players play independent of each other, then it doesn't bother any of us that you're talking about this. When you've got Clint Oldenburg, and I'll reiterate to this, a guy that played at the NFL level, telling us that the AWS that they use to try to dictate the differences between players cannot even be used properly on the offensive line, isn't even in the game, then why do I care what any of those ratings are for the linemen or the players around them? Because a quarterback, a running back, in many cases, is only as good as the line that's protecting him or blocking for him. And if you're telling me that core is broken from a rating standpoint, then why do I care what arbitrary number you're assigning to someone's speed? How many times have we asked you just to help us better understand what some of these things actually do for a player? How many times have you seen a channel go out and take players and have them try to hit one animation? How many times does Eli Manning have to make a catch before it was the Odell Beckham catch? right? It's just dependency of animations. That's not ratings, right? If you had a physics-based system, then maybe I would care about how you perceive a linebacker's strength, how you perceive a safety's speed, right? Because now I know, hey, this player is going to be different. He's going to move downfield faster, and he's going to be able to hit me with more momentum. Or maybe I am going to concern myself about this linebacker because he is stronger, and he's going to make my player fumble more. Or maybe I do, just to go back in time, want a player like Patrick Willis because he's the fastest linebacker in the game, but he's going to be one of the better linebackers, not just because he's the fastest, but because of the skill set that he possesses. You know, in Madden, you don't have corners covering correctly, but they're covering ratings numbers, right? You don't have players that actually make an impact. Now, I don't want to go as far to say, you know, you need a Richard Sherman issue being pushed into a video game. But when you have a team that loses a leader and goes to another team and replaces a leader, when you have teammates that want to push a player out because they're dissatisfied with them, those are things that don't have to be verbatim ripped from the headlines. You know, those can be things that are just placed into the game. You know, look at what the Dolphins did this year, you know? They've got a rookie quarterback that gets pulled a couple times. They bring in Jacoby Brissett. There's a natural storyline there. Now you've got a veteran quarterback that's used to playing backup, that's learned from some of the greatest in the game, and now all of a sudden we're building a dynamic, right? So does Jacoby Brissett's ratings matter this week? No, because that whole storyline that we just went over doesn't function independently in Madden. It doesn't matter in Madden. That's just a backup player. When you bring players in, maybe it affects the morale, but you don't bring players in to be those key pieces. You don't bring players in for those meaningful examples that we see in actual NFL football, right? Is Aaron Rodgers going to retire in Madden as a leading story due to a contract dispute? Going to affect how his receivers want to extend their contracts within your franchise? Absolutely not. So why do I care if EA thinks Aaron Rodgers took a step back because he wants to leave and they're going to adjust his ratings? Or why do I care what his backup quarterback's ratings are? Because if I'm a Packer fan, if the ratings are too low, maybe I don't want to play with the Packers. No one's going to do those things. But this is what EA is going to tell you all week is going to matter. This is the wool that EA is going to pull over your eyes to distract you from how bad this product is. Those of us that have played the beta know the gameplay is very much the same, and the ratings very much do not matter. And you will continue to be disappointed by this product until they stop talking about things that don't matter and start showing us things that do and how they're impacting the game. And to be fair, it starts with getting rid of animations, putting in a system that allows players to have some type of physics, and honestly, whatever data they can take from Amazon Web Services, put it in the game, but start at the line and build from there. Any football team with a poor line that doesn't function is going to be a poor football team. I don't care who you put around them. And EA should know that. Clint should know that above anyone else. Yet here we are, talking about numbers that don't matter. But the number that will matter is what that rating for this game is going to be this year. And I will be back to talk about that, hopefully, in the week with more commentary.